In a small village nestled in the shadow of ancient stones lived a boy named Dara. Every evening, as the sun painted the sky in shades of orange and purple, he would gaze at the mighty Bakong temple, a mountain of carved rock that had stood for over 1,000 years. His grandmother, a woman with eyes that held the wisdom of generations, told him stories of the temple's first king. "He built Bakong as a home for the gods," she would whisper, her voice like the rustling of palm leaves. "But he also hid a secret within its heart, the Naga's tear, a jewel said to hold the strength of the earth itself. It is protected by the temple's guardians," she continued, "magical beings who test the courage of any who seek it." One season, the rains came with a fury nobody had ever seen. The river, usually a gentle friend, swelled into a raging monster, threatening to wash their homes away. Fear settled over the village like the dark storm clouds above. The elders spoke in worried tones, their faces etched with concern. Dara remembered his grandmother's story. He had to find the Naga's tear. As dusk fell, Dara slipped away to the temple. The air was thick with the scent of rain and damp earth. He climbed the first steep stairway, his heart pounding like a drum. At the top of the first level, a stone lion with a chipped ear stood guard. As Dara reached out a hand, the stone began to glow with a soft, ethereal light. The lion, whose name was Richizi, stretched as if waking from a long sleep. "The Naga's tear is not for the taking." His voice rumbled like shifting stone. "It is for the deserving. You must prove your courage." "I am not afraid," Dara said, his voice small but steady. Richizi nodded, his stone mane seeming to ripple. "Courage is not the absence of fear, but the will to act despite it. Your first test awaits." Richizi led Dara through winding corridors and past smiling stone, apsaras carved into the walls. "The first test is to listen," the lion said. "The walls hold the wisdom of the builders. What do they teach?" Dara closed his eyes and listened. He didn't hear a voice, but he felt a vibration in the stones, the memory of 1,000 monsoons. He saw how the stones were layered, how channels were cut to guide the water away, protecting the temple's core. "They teach that strength is not in fighting the water, but in guiding it," Dara said, his voice filled with newfound understanding. "You have listened well," rumbled Richizi. He led Dara to a courtyard where a giant stone naga, a mythical serpent, lay coiled. Its 7 heads were bowed, and its eyes were closed. "The second test is to give." "What can I give a stone serpent?" Dara asked, confused. "The naga sleeps a sleep of sorrow," Richizi explained. "It misses the scent of the jasmine flower, which no longer grows on the temple grounds." Dara remembered the small jasmine bush his grandmother tended by their home. It was a long way back, and the storm was growing worse. But he knew what he had to do. He raced back to the village, carefully plucked a single perfect blossom, and returned to the temple, drenched but determined. He placed the flower at the base of the naga. As the sweet scent filled the air, the stone serpent's eyes fluttered open, glowing with a gentle green light. A path opened behind the statue. "You have a kind heart," Richizi said, his voice softer now. He led Dara through the new passage to the temple's highest peak. Below, Dara could see his village and the angry river. "The final test is to see," the lion declared. "What is the true threat to your home?" Dara looked past the raging water. He saw it then. It wasn't the size of the river, but a weak spot in the old earthen dam, a place where the water was beginning to carve a new, destructive path. The temple had stood for centuries because its builders understood the flow of water. His own village had forgotten this ancient knowledge. The threat is not the river's strength, but our own weakness, he realized. "You see with wisdom," Richizi rumbled. "The Naga's tear is not a jewel you can hold. It is the knowledge you have gained." The lion touched Dara's forehead with its glowing nose. There was no gem. The heart of the mountain, the Naga's tear, was the wisdom of his ancestors, carved into the very stones of Bakong. Dara raced back to his village, not with a treasure in his hands, but with a plan in his head. He showed the villagers the weak spot. Inspired by the temple's design, which he now understood, he showed them how to dig new channels, not to fight the river, but to guide it. They worked together through the night, and as the sun rose, the river flowed peacefully in its new path. The village was safe. Dara, the boy who listened to the stones and saw with wisdom, had found the true strength of the mountain.